Right now at 5, our very own Carrie Worthen takes us to Joplin, where we learn about a program that helps low-income families receive cars.
And we've got some rain showers across the area. We'll talk about how long these rain showers are going to stick around coming up.
And Santa makes a special trip to the North Park Mall in Joplin to help kick off the jolliest time of the year.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Happy
It's Thanksgiving. Yes.
So, now
It's the day where everyone gets up early and starts cooking or sleeps in because they don't have to go to work.
Yeah, it is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Not so much a beautiful day.
Yeah, it's kind of misery outside.
I'm hearing communication that my microphone is not working. Is that true? That seems to be true. I just checked it. It's turned on. So if you can't hear me very well, it's Thanksgiving. So, hey, there we go. Well, I can hear me through Tanya here. It says it's on, though, so I don't know what's going on.
Do you want to use this one?
Yeah, we'll borrow this one for right now. We'll talk, we'll just clip this right here. We'll talk a little weather with you this morning. How's that sound? Okay, so Skywatch Storm Tracker, there we go. I think we're in business for the time being. We'll sort this out. We have some rain across the area, and it just occurred to me, too, because we have such a janky show that it's not really time for weather just yet. So I'm going to give it back to Tanya. Yeah, we'll come back. It is. Okay, never mind. The paper's... But it is Thanksgiving, isn't it?
It is. You got that right. That's right.
Well, we're putting some little joy in your Thanksgiving morning here by just being upside down this morning. Okay, Skywatch Storm Tracker. You can see the rain showers. We're going to get through this. We do have some fog. On my way in, I ran into some fog, not particularly dense, but you can see across northeast Oklahoma a little bit thicker. So if you're traveling early this morning, do be cautious. 7th and range line, you can see the rain falling. It is raining, 49 degrees in Joplin right now. Temperatures across the area holding about that point. 50 Chanute, 50 Miami, Chatopa, Neosho, Carthage, Lamar, 49 in Nevada this morning. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and range line. Like yesterday, a few more cars on the road than usual. We do have a red light for your morning drive. If you're heading out to the family and friends this morning, be careful with some fog, some heavy rain in spots. You could run into some slick spots, because I also ran into some slick spots on the way in too. So do be cautious if you're traveling. And the yellow light's still up for your afternoon commute if you're heading back home or just hanging out with some friends and family again. Will be cloudy, but it might take the roads a little bit to dry off because the rain won't really wrap up till about 2 or 3 o'clock. Holiday travel delays, as you can see, the yellows and reds indicate minor to moderate delays because of the rain. And as that rain pushes to the south, so do the travel delays as we head into the afternoon. Across the country, looking pretty good. And right here, if you're traveling locally, not bad. Mild temperatures. We got the rain in our area and partly cloudy skies as you head off to the north and west. No major weather-related airport delays to speak of this morning, so that's definitely a good thing so far if you're traveling by air, if you're a last-minute flyer. And for Black Friday, not looking too bad either. We're going to be a little bit chilly when you start, 35 at 6 a.m., 50 by noon, and 53 by 4 o'clock tomorrow, but we'll start to clear out today. We're looking at 52, rain hanging on through the first half of the day, clearing out again by about 2, 3 o'clock, leaving us cloudy and cool. We'll take a look at your 7-day forecast here in just a few minutes.
All right, a lot to talk about. Not so much time this morning.
No, and we'll see, because we're only here until 6.
That's right.
CBS Mornings will kick in at 6 a.m., so we're going to see if we can sort this out.
You can take an hour break and join us again at 7 o'clock on Fox.
That's absolutely right.
There you go. Thanks, Chris. Well, after several weeks of investigating, Parsons authorities find a man wanted for federal and local charges. 43-year-old Tremaine Darkus of Columbus has multiple felony arrest warrants. They include aggravated kidnapping, domestic battery, and a federal arrest warrant for possession of a weapon by a felon. When authorities found him, he fled from police. After officers caught him, they went back to his car and found drugs and drug paraphernalia inside. In addition to the no bond felony warrants, authorities requested new charges. You can find a list of those charges and how they captured Darkus on our KOAM News Now app. Missouri Governor Mike Parson announced yesterday the state's next Attorney General, Andrew Bailey. Parson is appointing Bailey to take over the position of Eric Schmidt, who was elected to the U.S. Senate. Bailey currently serves as general counsel to the governor's office. He also has served as the state's assistant attorney general. Well, just in time for the peak shopping season, construction wraps up on one of the 4 states' busiest streets. The new Rangeline Road Bridge is now open to traffic more than a month ahead of schedule. The original bridge over Kansas City Southern Railroad closed in early September for demolition. This new bridge is high and wider than the one it replaced. It also has new sidewalks on either side. This opening is welcome news for a lot of motorists and Rangeline businesses. MoDOT says on average, the old bridge carried more than 24,000 vehicles per day. Well, the low-cost vehicle program is through Higher Power Garage and is directed towards families who are without transportation. Applicants who get accepted have requirements before they can get a vehicle. They have to work a job, working a minimum of 30 hours a week, along with a budget showing they can afford the car. Also attending classes about basic auto maintenance and budgeting. Then lastly, they have to write an impact letter explaining how the vehicle will change their life. Each participant has to pay $500 for a vehicle, and each vehicle is donated through various donors.
I want them to know that they're in charge of their destiny, that they can and move forward in their lives, that they're not stuck in the position that they're in.
It's just amazing what God has done. This is truly a blessing, and I'm very grateful for it.
Higher Power Garage offers basic vehicle maintenance classes to people 15 years and up. If you're interested in taking classes, donating, or hearing the mothers' full stories, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. A Christmas guy in red, that's what we're calling him this morning. He was at Joplin's North Park Mall yesterday. Santa Claus himself set up his workshop in the J.C. Penney court. Kids can visit Santa at different times throughout the day, 7 days a week until Christmas Eve. That way, he will have enough time to make sure all the gifts are ready to hand out around the globe.
There's a reason for the season, and the idea of showing the people that we love that we do love them, that's what it's about. So it's the season of love. There's a reason that we give gifts to each other, and I like to be a part of it.
The mall will also host pet photo nights with Santa starting next Monday.
All right, quick check of the 7-day forecast. We'll be 53 on Black Friday, as we mentioned, clearing out. Rain again on Saturday, and then into early Sunday morning. We get a break Monday, 57, and we warm up Tuesday with another system coming in with more rain, and as you can see, much cooler temperatures behind it.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Pitt State Lady Gorillas take on the St. Mary Spires. We'll have the results in sports.
Plus, Thanksgiving Day parade is here. We'll have what to expect from this year's lineup.
And a new treatment for hemophilia is approved by the FDA. However, it will not come cheap. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, the Pitt State Gorillas are still alive in the Division II National Playoffs. The Gorillas will be in action in round 2 on Saturday on the road against Ferris State. The Gorillas are 12-0 so far this season. On the other side, Ferris State is 10-1, with their only loss coming to undefeated Grand Valley State. Pitt State won their playoff opener last week, shutting out Indianapolis 35-0. In that one, they did most of their damage on offense through the air. On the ground, they rushed for just 36 yards, and it was just enough to keep the offense rolling.
We tried to force the issue maybe a little bit too much, but even though the stats weren't there, running the ball presents a certain physicality, and it also sets up the other plays, and it set up the rest of the offense for us.
I feel like we could come out a little bit more physical than we did last week, spread the ball around way better than we did last week, and not just try to pound the ball. I feel like we did a great job last week, but I feel like we left a lot of yards out as an offense.
In Pittsburgh, home opener last night for the Pitt State women hosting the St. Mary Spires. Brenna Gerber, hot start to this one, finishes with the left there. Then Gerber drives and finishes. Big double-double for Corinna Gerber. 23 points and 10 rebounds. Now later, Tristan Gegg from the corner for 3. She scores 13. Then the freshman, Harper Schreiner, fights through the contact, scores and a foul. Gorillas up 12 after the free throw. Jenna Shipley, nice night for her. Drives, fadeaway jumper, 14 points in the first half for Shipley, 20 in the game. In the second quarter, sophomore Grace Pyle steps out and hits the 3. Pyle adds 18 and 8 boards. Gorillas roll in their home opener 95-63. Still to come, Celtic gold coins are stolen from a German museum. And we're going to take another look at your Thanksgiving forecast. KOAM Morning News returns. We're going to shake things up for your Thanksgiving and give you some Thanksgiving Day trivia here. So we want to know, under which president was Thanksgiving made an official federal holiday? Was it George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Franklin Roosevelt, or Theodore Roosevelt? Let's think about that and take a look at the forecast. Rain still overspreading the area. As you can see, most of it located in southwest Missouri, and it will continue to rain through a good portion of the day. We're also dealing with some fog out there, especially back where some of the rain has stopped in parts of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, so be careful if you're driving. 7th and range line, you can see the rain falling in the light there as roads are very damp this morning. 49 degrees in Joplin. We've got temperatures around that same point across the area. 48 in Neodesha, 49 Parsons, 50 Miami, and 50 in Neosho. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and range line. Hard to tell, but these roads definitely wet, and we do have a red light for your morning drive as we'll see the rain persist through the morning, and we're also, of course, looking at the fog and those slick spots on the road, so do be careful. I hit a couple of slick spots on the way in. Yellow light for the afternoon drive. The rain will clear out and will be cloudy, but there could still be a few slick spots out there. Travel delays. You can expect some anywhere you see the yellows and reds, and even some major delays possible down in northeast Texas. And as our system moves off to the southeast, you can see where heavy rain down to the south could make commuting down there a little bit more difficult as well. And then we head into Saturday and look at what starts to return if you're traveling on Saturday. More potential travel delays. All right, forecast across the country, not looking too bad. We zoom in if you're traveling locally. We've got the rain from basically I-44 and south, and then you go to the north and west, a little bit clearer and still mild. We haven't seen any major airport delays at any of the airports across the country, and these are weather-related delays, so be sure to check your specific flight if you're a late traveler. For your Black Friday, looking pretty good. By 6 a.m., we're a little bit chilly, 35 degrees. And by noon, we're 50. Clouds begin to clear out. And by 4 o'clock, we're 53 with partly cloudy skies and not too bad. We're looking at 52 today for the high. Rain carrying on through the first part of the day until we get into the early afternoon, say 2 or 3 o'clock. So let's quickly get to the answer to our trivia question. If you happen to pick Abraham Lincoln, you would have been right. In the midst of the Civil War in 1863, President Lincoln said he needed something to help tie the country together and proclaim Thanksgiving a federal holiday. Well, it's the event that officially kicks off the holiday season. Just hours from now, New York's Thanksgiving Day Parade hits the streets of the Big Apple for the 96th time. Organizers promise this year's parade will be bigger and better than ever before. Bradley Blackburn is along the route on Manhattan's Upper West Side.
New York City's Thanksgiving Day Parade is as iconic as turkey dinner.
Everybody has grown up with the Thanksgiving parade, right? I mean, even if it's on our TVs, it's actually part of Thanksgiving.
Thousands watched workers inflate the giant balloons that make this parade so unique.
My favorite thing was the soccer one.
My favorite one was actually Darth Wolfenstein because I like the books and I like its humor.
For some, seeing the parade up close is a bucket list item.
We didn't realize how big they are. Now we see why they're all tied down.
The massive parade features 8,000 participants, 16 character balloons, 28 floats, 1,200 cheerleaders, 700 clowns, a dozen marching bands, and of course, Santa Claus. About 3 million people are expected to line the parade route this year, and while there are no credible or specific threats aimed at the event, the NYPD is taking extra measures to keep everybody safe.
Heavy weapons teams, our bomb squad, radiological and chemical sensors, counter surveillance teams, drone detection and mitigation, and additional cameras have been installed along the parade route.
There will also be explosive detecting canines, sand trucks, and blocker vehicles, along with a huge contingent of police officers.
Rest assured there will be officers that you see and officers that you will not see. We are here in the air, we are here in the crowds, we're here along the route, we're here to keep you safe.
The weather forecast is perfect for parade watching. Sunny in the mid-50s with no wind to cause trouble for the balloons. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
From start to finish, the parade runs about 3 hours. This year's event is so big that organizers say it'll kick off 15 minutes earlier than usual. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. Do you have any Thanksgiving traditions? Yes or no? You can vote through our website, through the app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We'll be back with some Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, some researchers are sounding the alarm about measles. A new study published Wednesday shows fewer people are getting vaccinated against the disease. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says vaccination rates around the world had improved since the start of the century, but the pandemic set back efforts to wipe out measles. Global coverage rose to 86% in 2019. But over the past 2 years, the vaccination rate has slipped to 81%, its lowest level since 2008. Researchers say nearly 25 million infants did not receive their first dose of the vaccine last year. That's nearly 2.5 million less than in 2000. Well, prior to the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe versus Wade, the number and rate of abortions in the U.S. dropped 2% in 2020. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's findings, which were published Wednesday, were based on abortion data from all 50 states, Washington, D.C., and New York City. More than 80% of the terminated pregnancies in 2020 were performed at or before 9 weeks. More than 93% were done at or before 13 weeks. The lowest abortion rate was in Missouri, while Washington, D.C. had the highest. Well, there's a new way to treat hemophilia, and it will not come cheap. Tuesday, the Food and Drug Administration approved Hemogenics, a treatment to treat hemophilia. Drug maker CSL Behring says it will cost $3.5 million per treatment, which makes it the most expensive drug in the world. Hemogenics treats adults with hemophilia B, which is a genetic bleeding disorder that affects about 1 out of every 40,000 people. The FDA's approval came after 2 studies based on roughly 60 men. Well, as the flu and RSV continue to circulate, the American Academy of Pediatrics and the Children's Hospital Association have requested a formal emergency declaration from the federal government to support hospitals and communities amid an alarming surge of pediatric respiratory illnesses. Mandy Gaither has more from doctors on how to care for a sick child at home.
It's hit harder and earlier than usual. Respiratory virus season is back with a bang.
It's been a couple of years since we've really seen our kids significantly ill.
If your child is severely sick, having any distress, difficulty breathing, change in color, significant difference in energy level, seek immediate medical care. If not,
then it probably is best if you stay home. And unfortunately, we may not have a lot more to offer.
Pediatrician Andrea Singh says caring for a sick child at home begins with over-the-counter medicine. If your child is old enough, fever-reducing medication can help.
Fevers in and of themselves are not a reason to come into the emergency room unless they're persisting for a long time, more than 4 or 5 days.
When it comes to flu, the CDC says the cumulative hospitalization rate nationwide hasn't been this high at this point in the season in more than a decade. That rate for RSV about 10 times higher than typical for this time of year. But for kids who don't need hospitalization, Singh says there are other ways to care for a sick child.
Children over 1 can have a spoonful of honey to help with coughing fits. Lots of hydration that thins out the mucus and helps. Lots of rest. Kind of your old-fashioned remedies at home.
When it comes to COVID, CDC data shows less than 5% of the U.S. population lives in a county considered to have a high community level, down from more than a quarter of the population in February. But more than 23,000 people in the U.S. were admitted to the hospital with COVID-19 over the past week. For the first time in months, CDC forecast predicts this will likely increase over the coming weeks. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got some rain that we're still dealing with out there, and we're going to deal with it for a portion of today. We'll break down the full Thanksgiving forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, our very own Carrie Worthen takes us to Joplin, where we learn about a program that helps low-income families receive cars.
We've got rain across the area for the start of Thanksgiving Day. How long will this rain stick around? We're going to break it down coming up.
And Santa makes a special trip to the North Park Mall in Joplin to help kick off the jolliest time of the year.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So in addition to the rain that's falling in the area, we're also dealing with some fog. I don't know if you saw any on the way in, but as you head back where the rain is kind of stopped for right now across southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, you can see we do have some dense fog out there, so be careful if you're traveling this morning. Still raining in Joplin, as is very evident at our tower cam at 7th and Range Line. 49 degrees in Joplin right now. Temperatures across the area are not bad, warmer than where we have been. 50 in Chanute, 49 Parsons, 50 Miami, Neosho, Carthage, Lamar, and 49 in Nevada. Live look at the MoDOT camera, I-44 and Range Line. The roads are still wet out there, of course, because it's raining. We do have that red light for your morning drive because we've got the rain and we've got some fog and we've got slick spots on the road. So if you are traveling this morning to friends and family, make sure you're just being cautious. Give yourself plenty of time. And we have a yellow light for the drive home simply because although we're going to be cloudy and the rain will stop this afternoon, there could still be some slick spots out there. The roads won't be quick to dry. Travel delays, they're going to be impacting us if you're traveling here locally, and then as the day goes on, the system moves to the south, it'll clear out and we'll have travel delays off to our south and southeast. And look at Saturday, we got more rain coming, so if you're planning to travel back home Saturday, be aware that you could encounter some rain. If you're traveling anywhere in the nation today, hopefully you're already where you're supposed to be. As you can see, east and west, it's all right. Then you head into the Midwest, we got the rain, we got the clouds, and a little further north, at least they're partly cloudy and mild. No significant weather-related delays at any of the airports across the country, so if you're a last-minute flyer, looking good so far, but make sure you check your specific flight. 52 today for your Thanksgiving. Rain will hold on until about 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Once it clears out, we're stuck with cloudy skies and a little bit cooler. Going into tonight, clouds will eventually start to clear out late. We drop back down to a low of 35. And for your Black Friday, if you're getting out there early by 6 a.m., we're looking at 35, so a little bit chilly. You're going to need that jacket. And as the clouds clear out, we partly to mostly clear to partly cloudy, 50 by noon and 53 by 4 o'clock, so not bad. We haven't checked on this, so just for those interested, sunrise today, 7:06, sunset 5:03. We'll take a look at the 7-day forecast here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, a lot to discuss. Sounds like it's going to be a little bit of a wet Thanksgiving.
Just a wee bit.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, after several weeks of investigating, Parsons, Kansas authorities find a man wanted for federal and local charges. 43-year-old Tremaine Darkis of Columbus has multiple felony arrest warrants. They included aggravated kidnapping, domestic battery, and a federal arrest warrant for possession of a weapon by a felon. When authorities found him, he fled from police. After officers caught him, they went back to his car and found drugs and drug paraphernalia inside. In addition to the no bond felony warrants, authorities requested new charges. You can find a list of those charges and how they captured Darkis on the KOAM News Now app. Missouri Governor Mike Parson announced yesterday the state's next Attorney General, Andrew Bailey. Parson is appointing Bailey to take over the position of Eric Schmidt, who was elected to the U.S. Senate. Bailey currently serves as general counsel to the governor's office. He has also served as the state's assistant attorney general. Well, just in time for peak shopping season, construction wraps up on one of the 4 states' busiest streets. The new Range Line Road Bridge is now open to traffic more than a month ahead of schedule. The original bridge over Kansas City Southern Railroad closed in early September for demolition. This new bridge is higher and wider than the one it replaced. It also has new sidewalks on either side. This opening is welcome news for a lot of motorists and Range Line businesses. MoDOT says on average, the old bridge carried more than 24,000 vehicles per day. What started as an idea for a small automotive shop has helped families in need for 2 years running. KOAM's Carrie Worthen is in Joplin with more on the story.
I am capable of doing it on my own. I don't have to rely on anybody else.
The low-cost vehicle program is through Higher Power Garage and is directed towards families that are without transportation.
Started the program not too long after we opened in 2020, so it's a little over 2 years now. And we've been able to provide about 33 cars to this point. And we've seen some pretty big impacts from it.
Jillian Radcliffe is a single mother of 2 and one of the families to receive a vehicle through the low-cost vehicle program.
I can go to work now. I can take my kids to the park. That's a big thing that's hindered us, is that we can't just go to the park freely.
Applicants who get accepted have requirements before they can get a vehicle. They have to have a job working a minimum of 30 hours a week, along with a budget showing they can afford the car. Also attending classes about basic auto maintenance and budgeting. Then lastly, they have to write an impact letter explaining how the vehicle will change their life.
I didn't know you could budget your money to save in case of an emergency.
Now I know how to change a tire. Now I know how to check my oil. I mean, it's really the basic necessities to have a vehicle. I learned.
Each participant has to pay $500 for a vehicle, and each vehicle is donated through various donors. Arvest Bank donated a check for $5,000 to go towards the program.
I want them to know that they're in charge of their destiny, that they can and move forward in their lives, that they're not stuck in the position that they're in.
It's just amazing what God has done. This is truly a blessing, and I'm very grateful for it.
There's a waiting list for families, but the mothers say it's worth the wait. In Joplin, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
Higher Power Garage offers basic vehicle maintenance classes to people 15 years and up. If you're interested in taking the classes, donating, or hearing the mothers' full stories, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, this morning we're discussing Thanksgiving traditions.
Now, people have all kinds of traditions at Thanksgiving, whether it's going to grandma's house to eat a ham or eating out for the holidays. Everyone does something different.
Well, some people watch the Thanksgiving Day parade that airs, and whatever your holiday tradition is, we hope you celebrate it. And we here at KOAM wish you a happy Thanksgiving.
And that is our question for you this morning. Do you have any Thanksgiving traditions? So far, 75% of you say that you do. 25% say, you just kind of wing it. Whatever happens, happens. So make sure you vote through our website, through the app, and of course take part in discussion. Maybe share some of your favorite traditions over the years on our Facebook page. Quick look at the 7-day forecast. So we get through the weekend. Saturday, rain. We could see some heavy rain, 48. So if you're traveling, be aware. And that rain could linger into Sunday morning, 49. Getting a break on Monday, 57. And then we see another system by Tuesday. We're 66 with rain. And that system drops temperatures down, 43 Wednesday with more rain chances. And even after that, we don't do a lot of warming, but temperatures at least slightly closer to average after this next system rolls through.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, our very own Shannon Becker celebrates Thanksgiving with us as he tells us his big 3 stories from the week.
Plus, German soccer players protest at the World Cup. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch at the World Cup in Qatar, Germany's national soccer team staged a protest on Wednesday. It lasted only a few seconds, with the players putting their hands over their mouths, but it is a picture that went around the world. Players were protesting FIFA's decision to sanction them if they wore One Love armbands meant to promote diversity and inclusion. Qatar has been criticized over human rights abuses leading up to the World Cup. On Twitter, the team explained that denying them the armband is the same as denying them a voice. Despite standing together before their match with Japan, the heavily favored 4-time world champion German team lost by a score of 2-1. Well, at least 68 people were injured after a 5.9 magnitude earthquake hit a town in northwestern Turkey early on Wednesday, causing damage to some buildings and widespread panic. The quake was centered in Duj province, about 125 miles east of Istanbul. Dozens of aftershocks were reported, including one with a magnitude of 4.3. Schools in the region were closed as a precaution. The last time such a powerful earthquake struck the region was 23 years ago. And officials in Germany say organized crime groups were likely behind the theft of ancient gold coins stolen from a museum this week. The 483 coins were discovered 23 years ago during excavations of an ancient settlement in Manching, Germany. It's considered the biggest trove of Celtic gold found in the 20th century, according to police. It was stolen early Tuesday from the Celtic and Roman Museum in Manching, 37 miles north of Munich. The stolen gold coins are reportedly worth millions of dollars. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're still dealing with rain. As you can see, a lot of it now concentrated in southwest Missouri, but we'll be seeing this rain persist throughout the day. Behind the rain right now, where we've cleared out for a bit, we're dealing with some dense fog. Look at visibilities in Sedan, Independence, Parsons, Miami, even Grove, down quite a bit. So if you're traveling this morning, do be careful. You can see in the reflection of the light, still some good rain falling in Joplin. I got it backwards. 49 in Joplin right now with that with that rain out there. My good, it is Thanksgiving and too much turkey's already been had. 50 degrees in Chanute, 49 Parsons, 50 Chetopa, Miami, Neosho, Anderson, Carthage, Lamar. A lot of 50s and upper 40s out there today. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. A little blurry, but you can see a few cars out on the road. We do have a red light for your morning drive if you're heading out to local families or friends this morning. So we'll have the rain persisting. We're going to have the fog, and there's slick spots on the road. Trust me, I ran into 2 or 3 of them on the way here. So do be careful out there. Give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. Yellow light for the afternoon commute, because even though we're dry and cloudy, we still have the possibility of some of these roads being a little bit damp without the sun to dry them out. So watch out for some additional slick spots this afternoon. Travel delays, as you can see, we've got them as we're seeing the rain. As this system moves to the south and east, you can see where travel delays get to be significant down in the deep south. And then take a look at Saturday. As we head into Saturday afternoon, we have another system coming our way, which could lead to additional travel problems across the region. If you haven't already left for some other place in the country, which, I mean, you know, I don't know what your plans are. We're still looking good in the New England states, looking good out on the California coast, and here at home, if you're still traveling locally, we've got rain roughly along and south of I-44, cloudy skies. And if you head north of that, you can see Wichita, Kansas City, not looking too bad. And so far, no significant weather-related delays at any of the airports across the country. But remember, this is just weather-related impacts, so make sure you check on your specific flight to see if it's been delayed. For Thanksgiving, heading for a high of 52. We'll have the rain persisting through the first half of the day, and it'll start to clear out by about 2 or 3 o'clock, leaving us cloudy and a little bit cooler than usual. For tonight, we drop back down to a low of 35. The clouds will gradually clear out, leaving us with mostly clear to partly cloudy skies towards sunrise, and that's what we'll have for Black Friday, some partly cloudy skies, so don't forget the shades. 6 a.m. it's going to be a bit chilly, as we mentioned, 35. By noon, we're warming up, 50 degrees, a little more sunshine out there, and some sunshine still by 4 and 53. So not bad once we get out of that chilly spot in the morning. Sunrise today, which we may not see thanks to the clouds, 7:06. Probably won't see it at sunset either at 5:03 because we'll still be holding on to the clouds even after the rain does clear out. 7-day forecast. Saturday, as we mentioned, cooler, 48. Good chances of rain. Some of that rain could be heavy at times. So if you're heading back home on Saturday, please take your time. Drive safe, drive slow. That rain will persist into Sunday morning, early Sunday morning. Then we'll be left with mostly cloudy skies and 49. 57 Monday. Look at this Tuesday, 66 degrees. But you can see another system coming in, knocks us back down to 43 on Wednesday. And then we also move into some slightly milder temperatures by the end of next week with additional rain chances. So good rain chances on the way. We got more after this, but first we're going to take time to honor today's four-state hero, Larry Palmer. Specialist Palmer served in the Navy from 1964 to 1975. He was part of an aircraft maintenance unit. During his service, he earned a National Defense Ribbon and a Good Conduct Medal. A native of Joplin, we thank you, today's four-state hero, Larry Palmer.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. After several weeks of investigating, Parsons authorities find a man wanted for federal and local charges. 43-year-old Tremaine Darkus of Columbus has multiple felony arrest warrants. They include aggravated kidnapping, domestic battery, and a federal arrest warrant for possession of a weapon by a felon. When authorities found him, he fled from police. After officers caught him, they went back to his car and found drugs and drug paraphernalia inside. In addition to the no bond felony warrants, authorities requested new charges. You can find a list of those charges and how they captured Darkus on the KOAM News Now app. Missouri Governor Mike Parson announced yesterday the state's next Attorney General, Andrew Bailey. Parson is appointing Bailey to take over the position of Eric Schmidt, who was elected to the U.S. Senate. Bailey currently serves as general counsel to the governor's office. He has also served as the state's assistant attorney general. Just in time for peak shopping season, construction wraps up on one of the 4 states' busiest streets. The new Rangeline Road Bridge is now open to traffic more than a month ahead of schedule. The original bridge over Kansas City Southern Railroad closed in early September for demolition. This new bridge is higher and wider than the one it replaced. It also has new sidewalks on either side. This opening is welcome news for a lot of motorists and Rangeline businesses. MoDOT says on average, the old bridge carried more than 24,000 vehicles per day. Before you give thanks, give blood. That's the slogan Community Blood Center of the Ozarks used for yesterday's Thanks for Giving blood drive. Participants who donated blood, plasma, or platelets were entered into a drawing to win a brand spanking new iPhone 14. The holidays see an increased need for blood. Let's check up today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
I do not want to win a brand new spanking. I got plenty of those when I was a kid. All right, 52 degrees for our high today. We'll have the rain persisting through the first half of the day. It starts to clear out by about 2 or 3 o'clock. As we go through tonight, clouds will continue to clear. We're mostly cleared, partly cloudy by sunrise, 35. And for your Black Friday, real quick look at that. 6 a.m., it's going to be a bit on the chilly side, 35. And then we'll start to see the sun, so don't forget the shades. 50 by noon, and we're looking at 53 by 4 o'clock. We're back with Shannon Becker right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Now we know our very own Shannon Becker usually comes in on Friday, but he decided to hang with us a little early this Turkey Day. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy you as well.
Yeah.
How was your big feast yesterday? Was it good?
It was excellent. Everyone made amazing dishes here.
I saw the disgusting leftovers in the break room. Anyway.
Well, if you go back in there, you'll notice that I just cleaned them up.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Let's take a look at the big three this week. Joplin News first. What's live and local? This is a big story that we've been talking about, and they've had over 40 applicants since we aired this story on Monday. It's the big three, number 3, Joplin Fire Department. They're hiring. Now, if you go to our article, if you go to our story on KOAM News Now, you just click that link. You can see how much a Joplin firefighter will make if you're just starting out as a firefighter. If you have your EMT, you can make a little bit more. You can ask them any kind of questions. They got benefits, retirement. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, and it's an important career. It's respectable. I mean, you are a first responder, and so many people rely on you. So that's amazing.
And the great thing too, I mean, they're hiring 14 people. They got station number 7 that's opening this next year. So it's time to train them now, even though they haven't it's not built yet. You know.
That's what I'm saying. Training is included.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
they will pay you while they train you. Our number 2 story, Joplin News first. This was yesterday. Chris had said off the air a while ago, now we were there as they moved the barricades yesterday for the Rangeline Bridge, and this gentleman pulled up and he was like, "Is it really open?" I was like, "Yeah, it's open." And then he said to the MoDOT worker there, he said, "Do I win a prize?" And he said, "No." So anyway, it's open. Everybody's talking about it, and it's fantastic.
Your prize is you get to drive on it now.
Yeah, exactly. So that's on the north side where they opened first, and they opened the south side a little bit later.
Did you walk over the sidewalks?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Did it all. The new Maria's is there. They've laid sod on that side. So Maria's is open. They did a soft opening a couple of weeks ago, but that's their new location right there across from Import Warehouse.
Awesome.
Our number 1 story. This was our number 1 story last week. The tow truck driver, Bradley Skaggs, was laid to rest on Saturday. I was there, about 9 miles long, they say, is what the procession line was. They asked for emergency first responders and also for tow trucks to come. And they came from all over Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas. It was a somber day. He was laid to rest just outside of Sulphur Springs, Arkansas. That's right there. You see White Rock Fire Department, which is Jane. Schrader's Towing had a lot of their trucks show up here locally. So very, very tragic story. You could read more about that. He was killed in a tow truck crash here in Joplin just a couple of weeks ago. And then our bonus story, let's be a little more lighthearted. The Way of Salvation, it's our 38th year in Carthage, and they open tonight at 6 o'clock. You ever been through those lights, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
KOAM took a bus tour through it one time. Yeah.
Well, they open tonight. They'll be running through New Year's Day. Other fun Christmas events we've been talking about. I went to the Bentonville Square this week. Oh my gosh, that will blow your mind.
Are you going to the pump lighting today?
Yep, today I'll be at the pump lighting.
In La Russell, Missouri.
La Russell. And then Kansas City Southern, the Holiday Express is coming back after a 2-year break. They'll be in Pittsburgh coming up.
On a Saturday this year, I think.
Pittsburgh. Yeah. So that's the only real chance you'll have to get a look at it will be in Pittsburgh on the 10th. You can find out more. It's our bonus story, KOAM News Now.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for those 3 big stories, plus the bonus. I
Yeah,
always love the
of
bonus.
course.
And again, happy Thanksgiving,
You
Shannon.
as well.
All right, we'll be right back.
All right, as we take a look at our Thanksgiving forecast, 52 for the high. We're going to have rain through the first half of the day, start to clear out by 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. And as we head through tonight, we're looking at an overnight low of 35. I wish it was 53. And we'll see the clouds really start to clear out then. 7-day forecast, your Black Friday looks good. 53, partly cloudy skies. Rain again on Saturday and Sunday morning. And then we clear out Monday before we see more rain by the middle of next week. So if you're doing any traveling today, be careful. And if you're planning on traveling home or anything on Saturday, be extra careful. Saturday is going to be more of an all-day rain event, and there could be quite a few slick spots. There already are this morning, and we got some fog to deal with this morning. So just be cautious. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going.
I see you gave us a little bit better Black Friday forecast. Though.
Yeah, at least for your shopping, it'll be a little bit better. So.
All right.
Well, that's it for us this morning on KOAM. We're going to be over at Fox 14 at 7 a.m. CBS Mornings is up next.
That's right. And our next local newscast on KOAM will be tonight at 6 p.m.
We'll see you then.
Have a great morning and an even better Thanksgiving.